Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. I spent a good part of the afternoon out at a forest preserve and came back and spent the rest of the evening catching up on news reports. It is hard to say where things are heading in this country. It appears as though the president, Donald Trump, is off in la-la land in his mind. His handlers are providing him with busy work to keep him occupied. Meanwhile, they are putting a rush on all of the autocratic militarization which they wish to have in place in the event he kicks the bucket. And it could be soon. And the vice president is spending more time in the spotlight. None of this lot of people, his handlers or whatever they may be, at one time his minions, are likable, are trustworthy, are decent in any way, shape, or form. The talk for several days now has been that the National Guard will come to Chicago. Our Governor Pritzker, has spoken pretty forcefully about that possibility and said to Donald Trump, do not come to Chicago. Whoa. So, who knows? We may be looking at Chicago becoming the epicenter of the next phase of this would-be hostile takeover of our government, which more and more people are not wanting to see happen and are working against. Now, I watched a couple of videos, and I watched one by Heather Cox Richardson. I was feeling a little bit frustrated, just not sure what to do, and one of the things she said was, keep talking, whatever. I mean, she was not talking to me personally, but she was telling people what to do. Just don't be silent about things. And I thought, well, I guess I can foist upon you another poetry reading from the book Against Fascism. This book is available at lulu.com, and I will put a link to it in the description box. Now, I wanted to pull out a couple of poems about the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and I just could not find any of those. So I went for some others. I decided, I've read the one that I read so often about Stephen Miller relatively recently, so I would skip that, but I may well do the one that I've read a number of times as well about that guy. The name escapes me right now. He's really the heart and soul of MAGA, I think you might say, Steve Bannon. So I like that poem because it gives a different meter than most. But so I will just read some things. And see where it gets us. What's that? This one is titled, Why Don't You Move? Because I raised my hand to say the abrogation of due process rights is wrong, so they respond, why don't you move? Because I say free speech is held a constitutional right. The traitor faction feels compelled to squeak, "Get out of sight." Due process and free speech are both, as per the Constitution, considered sacrosanct. The mouth that calls for dissolution of rights that have been thus enshrined in fealty to dictator, each one may be of different mind, but all alike are traitor. As it is true of MAGA, it is true of MAGA adherents. Because of trust. Humanity survives because of trust. If you fail to reclaim it, you are dust. Oh, why don't I read this one just because it will get the racist MAGA sort upset. This one is called 0 to 1, Peter Thiel's false premise. Thiel vouches innovations run, begins at 0, ends with 1. False premise, as Obama showed, someone before you built that road. Yep. They got really upset when he said that. This one is titled, If Justice Reign. Let the dictatorship be made aware that we are legion, not pleased with having been betrayed from region unto region. Not single persons solitary in isolation, we march growing wise, but not yet weary in solidarity. They may well pluck us one by one, deporting some abroad, removal as a means to stun, or sending some to God. Yet such things, though they come to pass, let us keep fortified. We know that we have got a mass, strength strongly multiplied. If justice hither come to reign, dictator and his cronies shall know deserts of just disdain rendered in acrimonies. If justice reign, with certitude they shall be treated to right repercussion, rank and rude, as is their only due. Conscience depraved no balm can salve, nor treatment of fine aloes. If justice reign, it they shall have by guillotine or gallows. So the word is that Donald Trump and his cohort have run a presidency of retribution, and that the rest of us who would like to see democracy restored must strive for justice. Justice must be our aim, not merely retribution. It's something to work for. This was another one about Peter Thiel's philosophy. This is called Thelian philosophy. Human ancestry lived in static and zero-sum society. So Peter Thiel pronounces Vatic in hermeneutic rhapsody. Instead of Bible, he, for God, takes what he calls technology. Yet his philosophy speaks fraud, the while he takes from you and me. Static the human world was not, since Eve and Adam first begat it. Not all was theft, which stands as rot, even since Peter Thiel first shat it. I should read the Trump and Epstein axis. Congress should be coming back soon, and we will see if they release the Epstein files. It may well be that Trump is out of the picture by then. Though I will be praying for him that he hangs on a little while yet. This one is, I think, taken from a sign that I saw at a protest. A super callous, fragile bigot. A super callous, fragile bigot. The words suited him well. And though folks tried to jerry-rig it, disaster was plain to tell. His followers were known as maggots, a festering moniker. And they were little more than braggarts, well practiced with the slur. He waived their pressure to act civil, permission granting, in effect, to spout out rude, fantastic drivel at targets most select. Persons disabled, so he told them, were well to denigrate, and with his ugly words consoled them that rudeness made them great. To put down persons on the margins of what he called the norm, bought them esteem at cut-rate bargains, he preached unto their swarm. Superbia to behold grew wondrous, loud they waxed arrogant, but their belligerence, proudly thunderous, supplied none of their want. When met with popular resistance, their bubble of esteem deflated, nor could hyped insistence resuscitate their dream. Excuse me. This one is titled The Bankrupt. I bankrupt 6 casinos, and my creditors got angry. I thought they'd run me out of town upon a rail or hang me. Instead, I went to Washington to be the president, where I'm bankrupting the country for $1 take 1 cent. Okay, here's the one on Steve Bannon. As I say, I'm always happy to read these poems that come in a different meter. The Dream of Steve Bannon. I dreamt that I was walking through a dark and lonely canyon. The field of battle lay behind, where pealed the sound of cannon. Nobody walked beside me, 'mongst the dead my last companion, when in the gloom I saw before the visage of Steve Bannon. For those that do not know the man, a troll or gnome or dwerg, provides the visual, slovenly, but rather larger than any of the aforesaid. Here's the road to Nuremberg, I called to him, and then he grimaced like a hunted man. No, no, he said, and no, 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 and no, 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 some more. I said, this road runs long and dark. Much death lies me behind. The other way lies justice. Then he shivered to the core and seemed to plead as needful for another road consigned. Not either way suits me, said he, but if I had my druther, I'd cover up my infamy and choose a different route. For I am conscience weary of the harm done to a brother, and fear abhorrently the hearing of it all come out. I told him, deeds must all be known. I read it in Franz Fanon. Your Judas coin won't help the words prudicio in exurg. He carried him a sackful, and the lumbering, no, he carried him a sackful, did the lumbering gnome Steve Bannon. Those coins aren't legal tender in the realm of Nuremberg. Steve Bannon has been laying rather low. MAGA not patriots. They wish to have a monarchy or something close approximate, destroyers of democracy who every day dismantle it. Rather to be ruled than governed, their abject aspiration is, an overwhelming passion fervent as builds a mad mercurial bliss. Don't call this faction patriots, for constitutional law abhors one autocrat who calls the shots and for his friends has opened doors, while for the rest of us entire all hope and freedom stripped away. They call that greatness in their ire to have life's balance tipped their way, expending others as decreed to be a different, lesser sort than they themselves, whom they impede as far as murder just for sport. As Stephen Miller lately is calling all Democrats criminals. And just for something different, I will close with my ballad of toxic masculinity. I have been reading the Stonewall Reader published by Penguin lately, and just finished an essay that I posted about earlier. It will be the one before this one in the queue. I will put a link in the description box also to it, written by Stephen, now I keep saying, well, I can't even remember the name I keep saying. Stephen, anyhow, his essay talked about this problem with toxic masculinity, and it posited the idea that men being forced to either declare or deny themselves homosexual was the principal cause for keeping women unfree and under the thumb of the patriarchy. I didn't understand the full philosophy there, but because of that, I have been thinking about toxic masculinity, and I happen to have a poem that I wrote. Now, this came from something I overheard on a video somewhere. It is based upon a true story with embellishments of my own. That's often how poetry works. So I've lost track of the original source for this. The Ballad of toxic masculinity. My father was a paramedic and also fireman. In doing good and energetic and a flat tire man, who always at the roadside stopped to help a car distressed. To pass by not once did he opt, benevolence manifest. He never failed to intercede when fell the snows of winter. Elderly neighbors in their need we shoveled for, no stinter, our family in the virtue of doing unto the other. He taught and modeled common love to both me and my brother. Any community event, fundraiser or food drive, we played a part and always went. Our family was alive with civic duty and friendship. That's just the man he was. Yet no enforcer with the whip who holds ill animus. Literally, he at his job breathed life into the dead more times than he remembered. Sob consoled of heart that bled, or comforted the terrified, gave to the hopeless hope, held hands with strangers when they died, or frantic could not cope. It never mattered, race, beliefs, or backgrounds. One and all, he shepherded through joys and griefs, and sprinted, did not crawl, to any person needing help, a masculine role model. I patterned on my dad myself. He was no mollycoddle. I say he was, and yet he is. But, oh, the man has changed. The man I knew I always miss, but he is grown deranged. I mean, he fell beneath the sway of devious propaganda. My mom divorced and went away. She got the memoranda. It has convinced him anger's strength, while masculinity, suspicion, grudges held at length, and dominance has to be. Division, not conciliation, and kindness equals weakness. Such views held not in moderation turned hopefulness to bleakness. Now cruelty he mistakes as courage, nasty and rude for strong. His generous traits dismissed from storage, his character grown wrong. Its propaganda stole my dad and like hijacked his mind. I scrutinize for good and bad. I scrutinize for good, but bad is all my searches find. Well, I didn't mean to follow up on that and on the Steve Bannon one just at the end. Maybe I should read something else. Well, just for the heck of it, I'll throw one in pertaining to Gaza. This is titled Riffs from Words Spoken by Dr. Tanya Haj Hassan. Never before had I seen shredded bodies, nor children raw beheaded, nor burns so many and extensive, so indefensibly offensive. Never seen in such quantity so much brain matter out, to be a commonplace. How tell the shocks, a severed foot brought in a box of one who asks I reattach it? How hard enough it is to watch it from the external standpoint of a stranger, not someone you love, having shared life with them long time. A pediatric doctor, I'm allowed to take a distant view, so much of gore accustomed to. But even I could not escape the harshness after every scrape, as it can no more be denied in Gaza is a genocide, and people in the years to come will wonder why their voice was dumb. Was it because their fear they kept silent, atrocities bewept? It is a slaughterhouse for humans, and when the future's light illumines what happened all in retrospect, how will the moral intellect then live with that complicit silence that witnessed such egregious violence? Murder and mayhem all unstinted before one's eyes, not far off hinted. So, that took us in a direction that was not planned, but of course, the events in Gaza are not distinct and separate from the events in Washington, D.C. So I will leave off here. It's time to take action against the forces of evil. Thank you very much for stopping by my channel.